Hey everybody, welcome back to another product review. I'm excited to share this with you. I've been using these massage seat cushions for over a month now, and I can say that these are especially nice to cover any defects or any wear and tear on your existing seats without actually getting a full new seat from Tesla, which is actually very, very expensive. This has an OEM look and feel. It looks original, and the leather material is very, very good. It's very comfortable, and it has little vents in it that actually cool. It's not cooling, but it gives you some air cushion. I mean, it doesn't, like your butt doesn't sweat when you're sitting in your seat. I'm gonna show you the interior, and you can order this as one cushion or two cushions. And you may be wondering, you might be nervous if I get one, is it going to look weird? Is it going to not match the other seat? Well, I'm gonna show you how similar they look and then talk about all of the pros and cons. But before we get into the installation, I'm gonna share kind of how it looks and talk about my experience using this for the past month. In the box, you get one of these guys, and you may have seen, this goes basically on the head rest area of your seat. You may have seen videos where there's like a little bubble that forms depending on someone's shampoo or the oil in their hair or whatever it is. There's a defect on the original older models that I think has been addressed, but this is really, really nice just in and of itself to have. And there's a little kind of like elastic strap at the bottom, but this tucks in so nicely that you can't even tell it's a mod. That's one thing that comes in the box. And then you get this little squeegee, and you get these two little screwdrivers, and I'll go over what those are used for here coming up. And then you're gonna get a cigarette lighter adapter, and this provides 3 amps, and this is gonna give you enough juice to power this massage cushion feature. And then you get the seat cushion itself, and there's a kind of like a T thing that it actually comes apart here, and then you can place this in and basically bring both seat cushions into the same power outlet. This, I'll show you on the inside now from here how this thing looks. So here it is inside of the car. What I'm gonna do is turn on the light so you can see it maybe a little bit better. Okay, there we are, and you can see it looks really, really nice. Now, because I've been using this for a month, you can kind of see actually where those pillows are for the massage function. You get one there, one there, one there. And then on the bottom, you can see the indent. There's one there and another one here. You can see the material here is really, really nice. There's these holes, which gives it this really nice, like I said, you don't sweat when you're sitting in the seat. And look at, from a distance here, how it compares to the original seat. I mean, it looks the same. And if you're outdoors, you would never ever tell the difference. So don't be afraid of just getting one of these. It really doesn't look bad as far as mismatching. And you can see the head cushion there. It matches perfectly. I mean, you would never know unless you looked really, really close. Now, if you get really close, you can see there's that seam down at the bottom. But again, it's extremely hard to tell. So there's several different functions, and I'll show you how those operate. Essentially, you come down here, and there's a little bag unit. Now, I played around a lot with this to try to hide it away, but this basically sticks out like this. Now, it never gets in the way while I'm driving. It does get a little bit dirty, as you can see, but here's the button. And what you do is you press on this, and it will turn blue, and you can actually see the seat cushion bubbling out. So it's actually it's coming out quite a bit. And here it's coming out down on the bottom. So when you're sitting in the seat, it gives this really nice feeling where it just pushes you forward, and it feels very, very nice. It's very comfortable. If you have back pain or if you have any issues with your back, it's really nice. Now, this is the upper portion that's operating right now. And if you then press it again, so it changes from blue to green, now you can see the bottom portion here is starting to bubble up. And you get another pattern here. Now it's in the front, and on the front here, and then another cushion in the back. And it's pushing up quite a bit when you're sitting there. And because they're so small, it doesn't require too much power. If these were larger bags, air pouches, it would require quite a bit more power to fill them up. So this is not going to draw a huge amount of energy from your car. But again, look at the difference here. They're very, very similar. And the last setting is you press on this again, and now both the top and the bottom are moving, and they alternate. The top just turned on and waiting for it. It's now deflating. Now the bottom is starting to cushion up. It's very slow coming up here on the bottom. And then lastly, to cycle it back to the original state, which is the top portion now moving, only the top, you just hit it again and it goes back to blue. To turn it off, you hold it down and everything will deflate and it returns back to normal. Now, you don't have to always use the air cushion. This just doubles as a really, really great seat cushion in and of itself, and it looks really nice. Overall, there are a lot of pros that outweigh the cons. The pros to me is that it really gives your car a refreshed look. The seats are going to look brand new again, and that's a really nice thing. And it's tight. It's a tight fit. It wraps around. You would never be able to tell that these are replacement seat covers. Those are probably the biggest benefits for me. Another big benefit is that you get that nice air cushion feeling. And it's nice when you, like I said, when you're going on a trip, you can feel that nice extra massage feature. Now, do you absolutely need to have a massage? Probably not, but it's nice to have that option. Now, if you do have somebody that has maybe they're handicapped or they have some sort of disability or they need extra care on their body, then yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense to have this, especially maybe in the passenger seat, for example. So this is one of those comfort level products that I think goes a long way for people that have that need. Now, the cons, I would say, first of all, the price. It's a little bit pricey. If you compare it to the price of getting a brand new seat, I think it's far less than that, but you can use a discount code like TechGeek and get 22% off. And of course, you don't have to get 2 seat cushions. You can just get 1. That's one nice thing. But the price, I would say, is kind of a con, in my opinion. And then the other con would be perhaps, and again, I haven't validated this, is the energy usage on a trip. Now, some people have asked, does this actually interfere with the seat heating function? And if you get it for a brand new, like a Highland, the refreshed Model 3, does it interfere with the seat cooling function? And the answer is yes, but not as much as you would think. I have not tested the seat cooling feature and how this operates, but for the seat heating, if you're going on a semi-long trip, I mean, it only takes about 10 minutes, I'd say, for you to really start feeling the heat coming up through the original seat. So think about it, heat rises. When you turn on the seat heater, eventually that heat is going to make its way up. So you do feel it, it's just a delayed response. You don't feel it right away. So just bear in mind that this does not take away that heat functionality. It is nice to still in the winter, and I did test this when it was below zero or below freezing, below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, and I had no problems and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Another con, I guess, would be that little pocket, that little area down below with all the wires and everything. That's where you turn it on, well, the packet below. And basically what that is the actuator that's filling up those air pockets. And that is sitting down there. All the electronics for the seat are down there. Realistically, you can't just jam that down below the seat, because if you do lower the seat down, you are going to crush that unit and you could damage something. So recommend just leaving that kind of hanging there in the front. So that would be the only other con. I'm going on with a lot of cons, a lot more than I did on the pros, but the installation. The installation is not the easiest, I would say. It does take a little bit of time, a little bit of effort. I recommend doing this in warmer weather. In the install process coming up here, I did it in freezing cold temperatures, and that was not fun because it's less elastic. The material just doesn't have as much give when you're trying to install it in sub-zero temperatures. So that made it especially challenging. But if you take your time, it's not a big deal at all. It wraps around, it's really, really nice. Now, one other thing that I don't know, this rides on my mind continuously actually, is the safety. So it's supposedly, there's a video from Hansshow, and I, of course, am not going to test this. There's a video that shows the airbags deploy normally, and there's no issues. How many times Hansshow tested it? That's the real question. Of course, they tested it once, and they showed that it works no problem. It doesn't interfere with any safety functionality, but you always have to wonder on that. And if you have kids in the back seat, because the air cushions that deploy from the driver's seat and from the passenger seat go backwards, and they protect the people behind you more than they protect you. If you think about it, when you get in a crash, your primary air cushion is coming out of the steering wheel, and that is going to protect you from moving forward. Generally speaking, the cushions in the seats are protecting the people behind you. So if you have kids, and if you're nervous about safety, this may not be the best product for you. But again, if you have an elderly person inside of your family that is maybe disabled or needs some extra comfort on long rides, then yes, I think this is justifiable. The cost, again, is not going to be a low cost, but it is, I think, in my opinion, worth it depending on the use case that you would get out of it. I've been going on a lot. Let's jump into the install. Please use my discount code TechGeek if you are interested in purchasing any of these products here. And by the way, my discount code gives you the steepest discount on all of Hanssshow's website. You can use it for any accessory for your Model 3 or Model Y. There's a little metal tab here, and that gets pulled over. My understanding is it gets pulled all the way over to allow this to come up. Let's just see if it can release itself a little bit right now. Seems like possibly it went up a little bit. Hard to tell. Let's find out now on the right side. There's the same thing. Both of these go to the left. And it looks like that left screwdriver came up just a little bit. You basically want to have both of them come up. Oh, there we go. It's already coming out. So that wasn't that bad. Now it's coming up. And then that should release. Look at that. It just releases the back seat. Really nice and easy once that comes up. And we are going to have to take this all the way out because the other seat fits inside. There's two holes. As you can see here, there's two holes inside of the new seat cushion. So we're going to go ahead and pull that all the way off here. Now, as you can see, it's actually hitting my glass roof. And I did see this in another video. You are going to have to move the seat, position it down so it gives it clearance to take this headrest all the way out. So I'm going to push it back down again and then move the seat. Okay, I have the seat down and pulled back. So let's just see. There we go. It comes straight out. Not bad. One of the first things I'm going to do is install this guy. So you can see this is the back. This is the front. We want to orient it so it's oriented correctly. And we'll take this and slip it onto the headrest. And it's a tight fit, like I said. Wow, really tight. There we go. Once it comes down in the back, that frees up some of the tightness. And now the front can come all the way down. And as you can see, that's a pretty nice tight fit. And the best part is that if you have any bubbles on your existing headrest, those will obviously go away with this, which is great. That in and of itself is worth quite a bit of money, I would say, compared to having them replaced from the factory, because in that case you need to replace this whole unit, and I'm sure that is awfully pricey. I'm just speculating here. But that is a nice look. I mean, you would not be able to tell that this is a cover. And as for the seat cover, we're going to install this right over here. Open it up, place it in. And here's the cable. We're going to place that in the center for now. And then the next thing I'm going to do is take a look at these straps. We have this Velcro strap. I'm going to undo this, and that's going to go underneath the seat. The question is, where? And I think underneath here, if you squeeze through here, you can get through a gap and then go right down into there. So let's do that. Let's put this one down there first. Here we go, we've got to start. And this is gonna wrap around and go inside of this area here and hide. So everything is tucked away and looks really, really nice. So let's go through the process. The other thing which we should be able to do right now is these little guys right here. This is probably the easiest part of the install. These go inside of here and create like an anchor. Those are in place, and then we'll wrap this around. This has to go behind. And then this has to go up above. Let's do that right now. So I'm noticing those anchors should not have been put in place. This needs to be the first step. Pull this up. So that's going to take away a little bit of time from my install, but it will help all of you so you don't make the same mistake. So now that I undid that, I can bring this up really easily, wrap it around, push it down. These holes are going to line up with the holes up above, but pull this down nice and snug. And then the sides are going to have to wrap around. I'm grabbing on both sides and pulling back. And at this point, I think it's safe to say we can go back around, but these are going to tuck in to this metal plate right here. There's one of them. Actually came undone. So you need to get it all the way underneath. There's a lip, and that lip is there's like a sharp corner. So you want to get it all the way around that sharp corner. Let's do it on both sides here. A little bit tricky to get it to stay. Oh, there we go. It tucks behind even further. So go angle it all the way back inside. There we go. If you angle it all the way inside, it hooks around pretty deep inside there. Now that those are in place, let's go around and pull the rest of this in place. Okay, as you can see, it definitely needed a little bit of help over here. So we're gonna pull this down and help it out in the back there. That's the first one. We already have this strap, as you saw earlier. We pushed that down in place. So now it's safe to say we can install these anchors. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Actually, before I do that, let's do that kind of last step. Let's just pull this down and try to get this as tight as possible around here. I'm gonna put my knee on it. And there, the left side's going in place, or the right side rather. And then this has to go down inside as well and wrap around the whole seat in the front here as well. Really want this to be as tight fitting as possible. I'm getting there. But the front here needs to come all the way around. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, what's interesting is that there's a Velcro piece here, and if you pull this off completely, the whole thing will come undone. But we have the air chambers or the air tubes in place. We don't want to remove the Velcro. I think that might be there for safety so it can come off in case of an emergency, but you want to leave that in place. Now, finding a place to latch this Velcro strap on is not working for me. I can't find a spot for it. That's going to be something I'm going to have to experiment with at the very, very end. We do have these anchor clips as well. Hard to find a spot for those as well. There's a bar, but it's hard to clip it onto the bar. You might have to raise your seat up a little bit to do that. But right now I'm going to focus on getting this tucked in to make it look really clean. Okay, an interesting situation here. We have gaps between, this is the original seat cover, and we have two different plastic pieces. And here this goes in between the gap, and then this also goes in between the gap. But you can see a tube here that is interfering. So I'm gonna have to go all the way around. You have to pull at this. I'm gonna do the top first, to pull at it quite a bit to wrap it around. And like on the top, you wanna get this as far inside as possible, like that, and then push it in place. Nice. That went in really, really nicely. You really have to pull on it. There we go. Top one goes in, and then focusing on these bottom ones. What I found helps here is to pull this down, tighten it really good, and then pull it as far as you possibly can. Get it all the way inside. This, for me, is the hardest part. You can see that little metal bracket has like a V shape. There it is. You can see it finally went in there. One done, another one to go. What you're going to notice is a hole on the right side for a little latch. That latch goes inside of here when you put your back seat on. So that needs to line up and give you space going around that metal latch. So it's good to see that there is a spot for that. And with a little bit of playing around with it, I finally got it in there. And on the left side here as well, you can see that little gap for the metal bracket. Great, so the back is in place. Now we can work on the front and pushing the sides in. Actually, since that's almost the final step, I'm back here right now, so I'm gonna take these little straps, these Velcro straps, and just pull them. That's one coming through, and the other one as well. That's actually pulling the piece in front down in place. It's securing it. Let me show you what it's doing here. It's pulling this tab in, and that's where you want it to go. You want it to go down inside of there. And the question is, does it go in the front here or does it go behind? And it looks like it's meant to go behind this unit. So you have your seat belt right here. It's gonna go behind there. So we'll keep this pressed in and then we'll push this right inside of there. Nice, and then this is gonna go inside of here. Look at that, looking sharp. Yeah, and I think once this comes in place, you're gonna push it and push it back. This has gotta go all the way down, but that looks good. We're gonna do the same over there. There we go, and then here, this as well is gonna have to tuck in there. It's a tight fit, but it will go inside of there, it looks like. And there's only a small little lip right here where it's gonna go inside. The rest is gonna hide away so you won't even see it. You don't need to tuck anything in up in this area. Now we've got the two straps here. We're just gonna do our best to tighten these down and then Velcro them in place. Something like that. Great. I think it's safe to say we can put this back on from the back, so we'll start that process now. These hooks go on the bottom here. I'm using my feet to help guide it, and then on the sides they're going in place already and snapping in place, and we'll take our headrest. I moved the seat up, so let me move it back again. Okay, great. I have long legs, so this helps, but what I noticed is that once you get this in place with your knees, you can press with this foot. Watch what happens. It goes in place. You can feel that hook going in on the left. Do the same thing on this side. This side looks like it already got it. So we're good there. And we're just gonna hold this up with our knees, and we'll take this and we'll find those two holes. Great. And start pressing to get this to go back down. Looks like I gotta move the seat just a little bit more. All right, when you move the seat, you actually don't need long legs. Now I'm a bit cramped. I'm gonna push up again. You saw that snap in place. That's important. Same thing on the right. Mine doesn't need much pushing over there. And now we can take this, push it down, and get it halfway. It should be going into these two holes here. So it's actually more than halfway. We're gonna go, let's say, like that. Now see, yes. Oh, interesting. Let me just feel in down here. Okay, I can feel them right here. So it almost has to go all the way down for it to mate with these two here. Let's pull it up again. So yeah, it's like 90% of the way, and then it makes contact with those. Push it all the way down. Hopefully those springs locked it in place and everything is done now. It looks like it did. Great, we're done in the back. It looks really nice back here. I mean, what do you guys think? Not bad at all. We'll just firm up the front, and then we'll be done. So using some pliers, we'll just take this and bend it. Something like that, and that'll help us get it to stay. So again, we're gonna go down below, pass it up, and wrap it around. Look at that, there, it stays really nicely. That is the way to get it to clip in place. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the video to watch for these seats and how to get that latch to stay in place, because that has been a mystery forever. As you can see, this little Velcro thing, there's no place to go. It won't wrap around this unit here. So really there's no place that I can see to wrap this around. I think it's better to have it floating. Don't know where you would wrap that around, but this guy here, you have a bigger bar here, and it's harder, I think, to get this one in place. We're gonna see what we can do here. First things first, we're going to bend this. This will really help for the install. Great, something like that will help a lot. And we're gonna come down here. We're gonna do the same thing, we're gonna pass it below. I found a spot over here on the right. You can see my finger here in the back. That's where we can slide it into place. So we're going to go down below, whoops, and wrap it up. You can see the hook going in there. That's exactly what we want. And we'll slide it over to the left. There's a metal bracket in there. Looks like we can get in there. Looks like it's not deep enough to get in there, but it does look like it's staying in place, at least. That's a good thing. Let's slide it over, see if it stays in place better over here to the more toward the inside. No, anywhere in there is good, but that now holds it in place pretty good. And the rest of this is just going to hang here, and that's not a problem. And on the inside here, it's also coming in really nicely, so we don't need to do anything else there. Okay, let's take a look at the final install. Not bad. I mean, it looks OEM, right? I mean, look at that and compare it with the other original seat. Nothing changed on that other seat. You would never, ever know the difference unless you got up really, really close. Look at how nice that looks. It looks really sharp here up in front. Everything is nice and tidy. That pouch is the only downside, is it kind of sticks out there in the front, but it doesn't get in the way. If you stuck with me until the end of this video, thanks so much. This concludes the installation. I hope this was helpful, informative, and for sure, if you do purchase these products, this will save you a tremendous amount of time. Just make sure that when you put that initial cover on, you slip it over across the top. That was the learning experience number one. And then the second is that when you put the headrest back in place, make sure you bring the back seat back far enough and also tilt it backwards so you can get that angle in place. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.